Welcome to Zennurgy, the interactive podcast providing resources for building a better life. I am Zennurgy. I am your conduit, your coach, and your catalyst to that better life. A conduit provides a connection, and a coach draws out hidden potential, and a catalyst sparks change. So today we are going to be talking about aesthetics, like style and order, and basically your personal style, your branding. And I am here with Nadia Gully of Swanky D's. Say hi.
Hello, everybody.
Awesome. Where are you from? Where are you?
Well, I am currently based in Birmingham, Alabama, though I do live in California. Long story.
Well, it's, I love to be able to see that we're getting people that are coming on from all different parts of the country, which is cool. And I had a couple of international people that came on from overseas. So that's really cool. And so we're going to be talking about your business. We're going to be talking about your journey. We're going to be talking about the whole concept of style. And I'm looking at your hair. So you definitely have, a very colorful style. I love it. What color is that? Is there a specific color?
Well, it's actually a turquoise, not turquoise, like a royal blue and purple. So it's a mixture.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I started my natural journey about a year ago, and, we were talking about style. And I'm very much in awe of people like you and people like my stylist, because I was kind of conservative, I guess you could say. I had worn my hair the same style probably since high school. And then I decided to go natural, and she was like, okay, let's braid it so we can cut it real short and get all the perm off. So we're going to braid it here. We're going to braid it this way. We're going to braid it that way. So I didn't do the big chop. I cut my hair like 3 stages.
Okay.
And so I did a lot of flat twists and a lot of braids. And I never saw myself as a person that would wear braids, but now I've worn all kind of different types of braids. And so, as I said, I'm really in awe of people who are able to, in a sense, style others and help them find their personal style, because I do feel for myself, my stylist helped me to, in a sense, get in touch with myself in a different way and get more comfortable in my skin. And, I was like, I think I have a fat face. Is it going to look weird if I have one side of my hair doing this? She's like, no, you don't. What are you talking about? And, so I think that people who are like you and you have an eye, you are able to see certain things that maybe other people don't see. And you're able to bring that out and help people, guide people into showing their best version of themselves or the best version of their business. And I think that's a very powerful tool, because we all are trying to, most of us are trying to be our best selves, but we don't always know how to get there. And so we can come to someone like you or someone like my stylist and say, I want to try something new, help me out. Or can you help me with my branding? Can you help me with my style? So what does style kind of mean to you?
Well, for me, just style is definitely freedom of speech. It's a way for me to express how I'm feeling that day, or just in general. And crazy as you mentioned it, I did my big chop back in 2012. And if you know me, if you follow me, I'm very I like to keep it, to change it up a whole lot. So I may have a different hairstyle or a different look weekly. Some people get a little bit confused, which I've had to die down a little bit, because the fact that I do own a business and you do want people to actually remember who you are. But before the business took off in a way, I definitely express myself. I could have a grunge phase today, and I want to be a feminine hippie the next day. And from my hair to the shoes and the clothes I'm wearing, it's all gonna portray that. So definitely, style is a way for me to express myself freely.
I agree with that. And I know what you mean, because there are two artists that came to mind when you said you changed up your style a lot. One is a lady named Goddess B, and the other one's a singer named Mika Machette. And I swear I met them 3 times. And every time I met them, they would say, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I'd be like, "You look kind of familiar," but I can't. They would have changed their style in my eyes. They would have changed their style so much that I was like, "No." Okay. And they're like, "You just met me 2 weeks ago at such and such." And I was like, "That's you? You look so different," you know? So style is, I know we must, if I, as a woman, you know, have been like, "Oh my gosh, she looks so different." I know men are probably like, "What are they doing? What is she doing?" You know, but
they like it.
It's wonderful, you know. And I remember there was this meme, and it had the "I'm Every Woman," you know, music playing underneath it. It had all these different styles, the same woman, but all these different styles, and she looks so different in each picture. So I definitely agree with you about the idea of freedom of speech and self-expression, you know. And as a poet, you know, that's really high on my list of priorities, to express myself. So having that ability to do it through style is really, really powerful, I think. And I think
it's very powerful tool.
Yeah. I love that. I feel that media is catching up with all of the styles that are out there, because I think, for one, when I was growing up, when I was younger, it seemed like we only saw, how can I put it? We only
mainstream what was on actually the television, but now, you know, you're able to see where fashion houses get their actual style from, which is street style, the everyday person. So I definitely agree with you on that. Now we're seeing it firsthand versus seeing it through a designer house.
Yeah, I agree with you. And another thing I put down, I think that it has a lot to do. I mentioned confidence and self-esteem. Do you see yourself being able to help people with that confidence and self-esteem through your brand and through your business?
Definitely. Especially with my younger clients. Well, with all of my clients, it's a certain type of person that's being portrayed on social media, and that has completely taken over. And my job is to bring you back down to earth once, one, to let you know that those people that you're looking at and you're so depressed over, they aren't real.
Oh,
remember that. Then 2, just to help you bring out your alter ego, your alter ego, your innermost fiercest self. So my business definitely helps you with that. Currently, we just did a relaunch. So I was a personal stylist for corporate America, but we recently transitioned to helping small businesses, brands, and boutiques become their innermost wonderful selves. Or, in general, just become their innermost wonderful selves through merchandising. So it's become just about that one person, and now it's about a whole stores, chains, whatever you want to call it.
I love that you're expanding that way, because going on my own personal journey, I think that COVID, in a sense, helped a lot of people, because as much as it did harm, as much as there were horrible health issues and things like that, people were not at work. And they were at home more, and they were self-reflecting, a lot of them more. And it gave a lot of people the freedom. Like, I decided to go natural during COVID. Something I had been thinking about for a while, but I was scared. People say that, you know, it's not as professional as having relaxed hair and all that. And then I'm thinking, we're not even going back to school. last year. You know, we weren't even
Mm-hmm.
going back to school at all. I was like, if this is the perfect time, I'm going to have from March until, let's say, the end of August to
Mm-hmm.
deal with my hair, to see how I look, to get comfortable with my own changes
Mm-hmm.
before I have to be physically on a campus again, possibly, if we go back in August. That was my thought process. And so it gave me the freedom to, and I know I'm not the only one, to experiment and to, okay, I'm gonna cut 1/3 of my hair off and then another 1/3 of my hair off. And I'm just going, you know, I'm gonna get all the relaxer cut off, you know. So by the time I go back to school, it'll be all natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually had a mohawk during so yeah, I cut it off again and kind of went short and went for another hairstyle too. So I get it.
Well, and a lot of people were trying things because the salons weren't open for
Mm-hmm.
the longest time. And so, you know, part of my going natural was, okay, I'm not going to relax my own hair. And I've been wanting to do this. Now is my time to just let it grow out. I'm going to let it grow out.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to the salons. And then once we go back to the salons, okay, she's going to have some stuff to deal with because I haven't been, and, you know, none of us had been for 6 months. I don't even remember how long it was. It was a long time.
I was in California at the time. We didn't open up as fast as the rest of the world. We shut down first and we opened back up later than everyone else. So it was probably, we literally August, September, we were just starting to open back up, kind of.
Yeah.
And then we went back on lockdown.
I hear you. Well, Texas opened up a little bit sooner, but still, it was a good 4 or 5 months, you know, for most people in most places where you were dealing with your own hair, you were dealing with your own style. People were coming to, I guess, a different realization of who they wanted to be and what they wanted to do. And I know that it's probably my perspective, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that people like you know, if you had a YouTube, if you had customers, you might have been getting a lot of calls during that time. Like, what do I do with my style? How do I do this? How do I do that? You know, because people were not able to go into the boutiques as much. They had to do a lot of online. They had to do a lot of YouTube looking, that kind of thing. Did you think that happened
for me? Not for me necessarily, because at the time, last time this year, I was in international sales.
Oh.
So international and domestic sales, and Swanky D's was kind of like on the side, but it completely absorbed me. It took every time I was working like 12, 14 hours a day, you know, just to get everything together. So I didn't really have a whole lot of time for Swanky D's at the moment. So for me, it wasn't a whole lot of reaching out. It was more so people were watching me live my life, because I call my customers freedom flowers.
Oh,
so
I love that.
They were able to see the original freedom flower at work. When I wasn't working, I was gardening and painting and sewing and just creating all kinds of clothing and things. We were doing DIY projects together. I mean, like fringe jackets and pick paintings and all kinds of different things. So my customers and followers were just able to see the real me, but in my natural state, because normally I'm a little bit more professional, or, you know, but they really got to see the freedom flower me, which I guess brought us closer together, is what I felt, or what I feel like. Because a lot of my customers or followers still reach out to them. I'm having to make a separate page from Swanky D's now to the new business venture that we transitioned over to, so that we still keep that kind of open door policy, I guess.
Well, that's great. I love the transparency, and I love the creativity, and any way that you're expressing yourself, you know, is style. You know, your style of painting, your style of how you put your garden together. You know, all of that ties into style. Um, and also identity. You said that they got to see more of your authentic self. You brought out more of your authentic self. So I think that uh, one of my co-hosts, because I do a live show, comedy, music, and poetry called Laughs and Lyrics, and she told me, she said, "Girl, you should have cut your hair and gone natural like a year ago, because you just doing all kinds."
Yeah, it is. I wanted to say something, but I was gonna leave it for later. But yeah, you should have cut it a long time ago. Being natural is the best. Okay, like I said, I did a big chop 2012. I grew it back, chopped it back off, grew it back, had so much hair, just, and then I chopped it off, and now I have this. So
it does,
yeah.
you know, for me. And I think, again, this is why style is so powerful. When you have accepted certain narratives that you have to be X, Y, and Z to be successful in mainstream America, and then you say, I don't believe that anymore. I'm going to go natural. I'm going to change my style up. There is a freedom that comes with that almost makes you feel like, if I can do this and be my own person, be authentic to myself, what else can I do? You know, what else can I try? And it does give you very much of I guess, a boost of motivation. And for me, just kind of a sky is the limit mentality. So I think that, you know, people think of style sometimes as just very shallow, but I think it's much deeper than that, because it ties into identity and possibilities and just taking ownership of yourself and your life, not letting others dictate what you should be or how you should be. So I think that that's very powerful. And so you said you transitioned into having Swanky D's as more of what you're doing now.
Well, I actually had my relaunch on March the 2nd, and I had a relaunch party and my 5-year anniversary on March the 7th. So Swanky D's transitioned from just personal shopping and personal styling to a merchandising consulting agency. Basically, we offer merchandising services to small businesses, brands, and boutiques. So that includes everything from fashion production, so fashion shows, in-house charity events, in-house promotions, different things like that. Buying services, so I would go in for boutiques and general stores, whatever that type of store may have been, a candy shop, gyms I've worked with, and we go in and buy for the actual store. Merchandising services, which would include window displays, as well as the actual store itself and your website. And we also content. So we do promotional videos, photo shoots for your products, as well as TikTok videos, Instagram reels, whatever it is you need. We'll put it together for you for your social media as well as your website.
That is quite impressive. As a person who has done shows, everything you mentioned, there are so many moving parts. There's so many moving parts to a fashion show. There's so many moving parts to video production. And, you know, I haven't even ventured into TikTok, so I can't even speak on that. But just, you know, to putting together a display, to getting, you know, merch, good photos of your merch. I mean, that's a lot. That's quite an impressive resume, you know. So I am definitely impressed that you're basically, it sounds like one-stop shopping. You come here, you can get everything you need for your presentation of your business or yourself. So that's pretty impressive.
Definitely. Well, I have a great team behind me to assist with it. They take care of the heavy lifting for me, and I'm just able to create. And I know if they were here right now, they'd definitely be like, "Lord, she's out of the box." Like currently, I have displays in Alabama's first selfie museum. which is called the Pixel Room. And, you know, you go, and everyone knows what a selfie museum is. You go in and it's like 30 displays. You go in and take pictures or do whatever you want to do. So for the month of March, I was commissioned to come in and do some displays for them. So we have some some International Women's Month displays set up there. And I know the owner of the establishment, when I was getting, you know, kind of getting the themes approved for each room, he just kind of looked at me like, you know, I don't know how you come up with these concepts, but I'm going to let you be great. And that's kind of how everybody else looks at me too. Like, I don't know what you think in your head or how you come up with this, but I'm gonna let you be great, and that's kind of how it goes from now on. And then my team comes in behind me, and we get the job done.
That's awesome. I've heard that before too. Like, well, how did you even come up with this idea? So that is a great compliment, and it just shows that you're truly original and that you're doing things in a way that people haven't seen before. And I love that you did something for Women's Month, because this is March, this is Women's Month, and we had International Women's Day not too long ago. So, like, who are some of the women who inspire you?
Oh my goodness, it's so many beautiful women in this world. But I'm going to do top 5. Is that okay? Top 5.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Of course, my mothers.
Because
they are the pillars of strength to me. You know, personally, you know, you can see celebrities and, you know, see, okay, well, yeah, you went through a whole lot, but just being in the experience, definitely it'll have to be my mother, and just the women in my family. Josephine Baker, she is the original Freedom Flower to me. Frida Kahlo, who is an artist and painter. She's an activist, you know, so she definitely fits in with me. Rihanna, Bad Girl Riri. She's a style maven of mine. Like me, she is a chameleon when it comes to, you know, putting on that show for fashion. She's the new Fenty fashion show is one of the reasons why I transitioned. I was sitting at home in quarantine, and her Fenty fashion show debuted, the second one. And I was in love, and I was like, you know what? I don't know why I'm sitting here working this job that I know it's just not for me. I'm not a 9-to-5 person. And just watching her fashion show, her Fenty fashion show, it definitely gave me a whole new lease on life. And why am I not doing this? That's exactly what I want to do in life. So definitely Rihanna. Lena Horne. She's a favorite as well. And that was my top 5. I was gonna keep going. My top 5.
Those are some amazing women and mothers, of course. You know, my mother, she was a hustler. I mean, anything that could be sold, my mother sold it. She sold Avon, she sold Tupperware, she sold Mary Kay, she sold real estate, she sold insurance, she sold, you know, pre-arranged funeral. My mother sold, okay? She sold. So, you know, I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I said, oh, Mom, you work too hard. Mom, you do too much. Mom, you never stop. Mom. And then look at, here I am, you know. So the women in our lives shape us definitely and inspire us and push us to be our greatest. So I definitely have to basically tip my hat to my mother and to lots of all the women that you mentioned. It's great to have a month set aside for women. It is wonderful. And for, you know, I look on Facebook and I see different women being highlighted, and it is inspiring. And I've learned about new women, you know, through seeing little memes that have gone up on Facebook, you know, women that I didn't know about. So I love to learn. I love to just be exposed to greatness.
Definitely.
You mentioned kind of helping businesses be fashion forward. What does that mean? I've heard that term before, but I've never really known what that meant.
Well, that mostly pertains to boutiques. and being trendy. I know that everyone watching here today can see the, how could I put it? It's very, I don't even have a word for it right now. It's just so much of the same thing. So much of the same thing. Everyone has started a boutique, and you know, a lot of people who started these boutiques, they just did it for a way to, either make a little extra cash, or they did it because someone else did it. But, it's those out there who really wanted to, that was their dream, to actually start a boutique, and they're experiencing a bump in the road, if you want to say, because everyone has started this boutique and they all have the same vendors. They all have the same ways of, they're all copying the people on Instagram who already had the actual boutiques before, they became popular. So now they're trying to find a way to make themselves different, to make themselves stand out from every other boutique that has popped up within the last, year. So it's my job to go in and create a different experience for that boutique or that store, because you could be a stationary store and you're trying to figure out how you can stand out. I don't know. But it's my job to go in and make that more fashion forward, or more industry standard, if you want to say, because you want to be able to compete with those new boutiques that popped up over the last year, and those mainstream stores or well-known boutiques on Instagram or wherever you might have you. So my job is to go in and use my Clark Atlanta degree and give you the ins and outs of, creating that different experience for your customers.
Okay. And you also mentioned like creating pleasing displays and things like, so when you're looking at creating a display, you talked about the display that you created for the selfie museum. So what are some things that you do to try to create those displays that kind of please both the business owner, but also the public that's coming in to see different things?
So I use a bit of an unorthodox method. So when my clients come to me, they have to fill out a questionnaire, and of course they'll have the basic questions on there. But then I'll ask questions like, if you had three words to describe your business, what would it be? If you had 3 songs to describe your business, what would it be? What is the type of woman or person you would like in your store? Just kind of weird questions, if you want to say. For example, I had a cosmetic line come to me, and they were interested in new campaign photos. So they gave me their model. I asked, what was your model? What type of woman comes to you for your products, and what are some songs that you think your business kind of portrays? And one of the songs was "I'm Every Woman" by Whitney Houston. So I kind of take what I learned from those like kind of off the wall questions, and I roll with it. I listen to the songs that they give me, and whatever that feeling is that I get from that song, I just take it and run with it. And 9 times out of 10, it's right on the money with what the customer wants and with what the client likes.
Awesome. I think music is very powerful. I created a personal development tool, and basically it's a 20-page workbook, and each page has a different topic. And one of the things, you have journal questions in there, but you also have a line where you write a song that relates to that topic. And I think looking for songs and thinking of songs in terms of what does this inspire me to feel or believe or think, is powerful, because songs are triggers. They transport us to places, and they bring up certain feelings in our mind. So I definitely like that you have that question about songs in there, because I think, like I said, I like to try to help people create triggers in their life that are positive triggers. So whenever they hear that song, they don't just think about, oh, that's Whitney Houston, but they think, like with the I'm Every Woman, maybe they think about the woman they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that song becomes a reminder of some of their goals that they have, And so that's a way that I've used songs. So how did you even get started with Swanky D's?
Well, Swanky D's was originally a vintage shop, and I needed it as a way to get through college. So I started it back, and it actually started back in 2015. But I say that it was established in 2016 because that's when I really started to take it seriously. But I needed a way to get through college. I working, and I found a way to create to incorporate my love of vintage clothing and my need for for my degree, and I just kind of started from there. And between interning and I became a traveling exhibitor. And then from there, I worked in international and domestic wholesaling. And that's how I ended up. That's how Swanky D's is what it is today. So between the interning and starting Swanky D's as a vintage store, so that I could, for extra funds to get myself through college, and those my corporate job, and now Swanky D's is a merchandising consulting agency.
I love it when people pull from everything. They pull from, okay, here's my necessity. I need money. Mm-hmm. I'm going to create something, but I'm going to pull from my education. I'm going to pull from my corporate job. I'm going to pull from my own personal interests. I'm going to pull from the things that inspire me around me, the people that I see doing certain things that have inspired me. And they basically, I call it becoming a sponge. Mm-hmm. You become a sponge, and you absorb all of the good things that are in your environment, and then you create something new with that, and you put out something that, in a sense, multiplies what you were given, because you took all these little experiences and now you are multiplying that by creating a display over here and a branding package over here and working with this person over here and, doing all these different things. So you're spreading it out, and touching a lot of different people and a lot of different groups with it. And I always find that amazing, because there's some people who sit in the same environment and have the same opportunities, and they don't do anything with it. They soak it up, but they don't put anything back out. Mm-hmm. It just sits within them. So the people that actually soak it up and say, okay, here's how I can use this. Here's how I can use that. Here's how I can use this to create something that's unique to me and is my gift to the world, I think is just inspiring, and definitely what we were put on the planet to do, because everybody has their gift. What you're doing it your way. And you're, as I said, being that sponge, pulling in all these things, and now putting out Swanky D's and all the things that Swanky D's is creating. And people are saying, and where did you get that from? And it's because you are synthesizing so many different things and then creating something new out of it. And that's a powerful skill. That's a skill that I think a lot of people can learn from, no matter what industry they're in, to be able to pull and coalesce and synthesize and then put out something that's different. So on the journey, what has helped you? You talked about how there are many people that are feeling like the pressure to be trendy and to do what everybody else is doing. but you seem like you have not fallen into that trap at all. What has helped you to stay authentic to your style, so that maybe other people can learn from that?
Well, I've always been a rebellious child, or just a rebellious woman in general. So, when everyone else was wearing just polos and I don't know, Jordans, I've never been a big fan of Jordan. So most people are like, what? No, never been a big fan of Jordans. I've just always wanted to keep my own identity. I tell my parents all the time, I wouldn't have made it in the military. Uncle Sam wouldn't like me. I don't care how much they thought they were gonna, run me into submission. Sister's gonna have something that was gonna make her different in that uniform. Like even just back then, I've always just wanted to be my own person. I just always wanted to be feel free in my own skin and feel comfortable with what I was wearing. I've had those times where boyfriends are like, why can't you just be like everybody else? But in the same breath, I'll wear, I don't know, say I'll have these glasses on and they're like, oh, well, why are you, those are so weird. You shouldn't wear those. Those are so, they're so weird. They're lame, whatever the case may be. But one season later, everyone has these glasses on. And then they're looking at me like, oh, okay, whatever. And I'm like, I'm my own trendsetter. I just be yourself. That's all you can be. Be the most rawest form of yourself. It's going to be the most happiest person.
I like that. Be your own trendsetter. Be the rawest form of yourself, because you'll be happier. I like that. So I wanted to give you some time to just talk about whatever tips or guidance or whatever you wanted to say about your business, about your journey as an entrepreneur. I always feel like you don't know what you don't know. And I have said many times that when it comes to certain areas, I am uninitiated in a sense. So style is something that we all have, but some of us have struggled with our whole lives. And then other people, they seem to have always had a grip on it, I mean, I've gone through my tomboyish stage where I didn't wear any makeup and I was just, sweats and t-shirts and jeans and sneakers all the time. And then I've gone through kind of much more, in a sense, glamorous stage. And then now I'm kind of probably in the middle somewhere, but a little more trendy with the hair, so I think lots of people go through all kind of different, as they grow, as they change, their style changes. But I think that some people just have seemed to, I don't know, you just had your own sense of who you were always. And you just were able to stay true to that. So just whatever you want to say about style, about your business, I'm just letting you talk.
Okay. Well, I would like to get to the basics of things. Just personal shopping, personal style. I know as women, we have a really hard time, and men don't really understand it because, for example, say you have 5 pairs of jeans and they're all the same size, but you can only fit 2 of those. You see, you feel me? Yeah. Okay. I just want to say, ladies, you might be that size. It's just right now, the way that manufacturers cut their clothing, they have their own sizing chart. So that's one thing. Just keep that in mind when you're shopping. Pick the best brands for you. Brands that suit your figure. 2, know your figure. Know whether you're a pear or a heart or a diamond. Know your dress shape. because that's what's going to help you find the most flattering pieces for you. So these are little gems I'm gonna drop to you as a personal stylist, and that's number 2 should have been number 1. You know, we tend to once again find things or want to wear things that are trendy that other women or that other people have on or are wearing, but may not necessarily be a good trend or a good essential for you. So just figure out what your figure is, and then from there you can, kind of do a little research and figure out what's the most flattering on you. For me, I don't know who I was on, but I'm a little top heavy. With most Black women are a little top heavy, so you have to make sure that you want to look classy, not trash. Put it that way.
Right.
But we'll keep going. I can talk all day about this. And 3, essentials. Every woman should have essentials in their closet.
Okay.
Little black dress, white button down, that wonderful dope pair of jeans that you just can't live without, a motorcycle jacket, and a jean jacket. You have those, anything is possible. Anything, and I mean anything. And then as far as now, just transitioning to Swanky D's, will definitely be if you once you start following my Instagram and my Facebook page. So my Instagram is at SwankyD's_fashion. And I have on a emerald green dress, and it's actually the picture is actually of me in one of the sets. It's an office set, so that's really dope. So Instagram is at SwankyD's_fashion, and my Facebook is Swanky D's. So it's Swanky D''S. If you follow those, for all the businesses, brands, and boutiques, I will be giving out tips on how you can maintain your social media page, merchandise-wise, not marketing-wise. And if there are a couple posts there, if you if you are not aware of the difference between merchandising and marketing, that's a really big thing you wanna get to know as a business owner. Marketing is how you is the brand, the overall branding, the long-term branding of your company, and merchandising is that short-term, how am I going to sell these products that I have on hand right now to you? So I will be giving tips out for the actual branding and marketing, merchandising of products. So that would be a big help for any new businesses or recurring businesses. And if you don't have the actual time to, do this yourself, we do offer those services for you. I feel like I'm rambling, girl. There's so much I can say.
I'm a business owner, so and I'm a newer business owner than you, because the first business I started was the live comedy and music and poetry show, which is 2 years old. And then I started the online store during COVID because I did everything online. So I'm learning e-commerce, and then I started the podcast in October. So it's a learning curve, a lot of learning. But I'm learning as I'm going about a lot of things. And so anytime I get any nuggets from anybody, I'm always, as I said, be a sponge, soaking it up so that I can apply it. So no, to me, you were not rambling at all. To me, you were giving out some good information that, lots of people need. I did want to ask you, so let's say that there's someone who's looking for a personal stylist. What are some of the kind of questions that they should ask, or what should they be looking for? What would be a way to find kind of a good fit with a personal stylist?
Okay. So I normally ask for me, I give a little bit of a background on, who I've styled in the past, because you could go to a personal stylist, but that stylist be a celebrity stylist, and versus someone who works for a corporate stylist. And they could give you very different results based off of who they worked for in the past. I know a lot of celebrity stylists are a lot more trendy, and they want you to keep up with appearances versus like a corporate stylist who is going to more so prepare you for anything that could happen, whether it's a quick trip out of town, an emergency conference or something, or just a business dinner meeting. You know what I mean? So it's all about who you're check the references for your stylist. 1, 2, check whether or not they require you to have a large budget, because for me, because I have that thrifting background, I didn't require you to have an enormous budget, and I basically that's how I personal shop for people. I've had clients that I personal shop for them in a thrift store. And, they only had a $500 budget, $200 budget. And, we made sure we had whatever they needed for their special occasion or whatever, whatever the case may be. So for me, it was more so I really wanted to fit the needs of the customer versus, okay, well, this is you want a personal stylist, so now your personal stylist is going to give you need to have Gucci, Prada, Fendi. No, not for me. I know your budget. I know that you have a sector meeting on the 12th. You have a conference from the 20th through the 31st or something like that. Then we know this is your budget and this is what we're gonna have to shop for. And I know for me, I take a lot more time. So that's another thing. Ask how many hours this person has to be able to shop for you. So it just definitely all depends on your budget and what type of look you're going for is who you're gonna need to run into rather.
That's some really good advice. I've thought about it. I was like, I wonder what it would be like to have a personal stylist, especially since COVID, because I said, having a hairdresser who's caused me to try a lot of different things. I've loved that journey. I've loved kind of the creativity and just the expansion of my horizons and seeing myself differently in terms of, oh, wow, I didn't even think I would like that hairstyle, but I love it. That kind of thing. Because sometimes people, as I said at the very beginning, many stylists have an eye and they're able to bring out and show you different things that you would never have tried on your own. But because you're trusting that person to look at you and say, hey, I think this would really work for you, and you're trying on different things, it just expands your horizons, which I think is always a great thing, to just move out of your comfort zone, sometimes.
Oh, yeah. If you're comfortable, then it isn't for you anyway. That's something different. Oh, I'm all for the different. My friends, like when I'm not working, my friends are like, they're my world. I don't have any kids or anything like that. So my kids are my friends. I'm always the one that's like, you guys want to go on an adventure? And they're just like, and for me, it could be us going thrifting or us going cross country or whatever the case may be. So always try something new. I'll get you a friend like me. How about that? Let's put it that way. Get a friend like me.
So how did you come up with the name Swanky D's?
Well, I was actually just kind of looking through different adjectives, just like what describes me, what describes, how I want my customers to feel, or, just different things like that. E stands, of course, for my nickname. My name is Nadia, but everyone calls me Didi. So that's where the D comes in. And then swanky, it was like several hours of going through different adjectives that describe myself. And I finally came up with Swanky D after I have a personal focal group of family and friends who aren't afraid to tell me if I'm right or, aren't afraid to tell me if I'm wrong, if they don't like me. So I just drop it in the family group chat, and I got my answer, really. I have a family of entrepreneurs, and, we definitely, we make sure that everyone stays on their P's and Q's, you want to say.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I wanted you to tell the people again where they can find you, your website and all those kind of things that they would need to know if they wanted to get in contact with you. And do you work with people outside of your area? Are you just local in Alabama, or do you work with people outside of Alabama?
No, we're a nationally based brand. So Swanky D's can travel to you. Like I said, I have customers all over right now, in California, Texas, as well as Birmingham, Louisiana, Atlanta. So I have customers everywhere right now, and we can set up retainers for you, so where we can go in and merchandise your store once a month or however many times, whatever the case may be. You can view my what services I offer via swankyds.com. So I also have a shop store on there with some cute little trinkets and things like that. So if you are interested in learning more about the services that I do offer, once again, you can reach me on swankyds.com. I can also be reached at swankydfashion@gmail.com, as well as my Instagram and Facebook, which is swankyds_fashion and swankyds.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. I think we covered a lot of things about style and how important it is beyond just the physical surface, to identity, to confidence, to self-esteem, and then to brands being able to really give their customer the feeling that customer wants, and to really show their best, as you said, their best selves as an individual or as a brand. So I want to thank you for joining us on this podcast about aesthetics. Is there anything that you wanted to say before we head out?
No, ma'am. Other than you should have cut your hair a year ago. I'm just throwing that out there.
Thank you. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and may you walk in Zennurgy. Have a great night. My name is Zennurgy, and I have a weekly podcast called Zennurgy, which is fuel for the mind, body, and soul. And this is the Zennurgize Your Life Goal Setting Package, Volume 1. It comes with the workbook, a journal, stickers, a bookmark, tabs, and a QR code where you can find my podcast. And inside this workbook, you're going to have 16 different principles. The first one, I'm going to show you mine, is abundance. You have a place to put pictures that inspire you of role models, also pictures of goals that you want to create, goals, journal prompts, meditations, affirmations, all kinds of things to help you focus on this principle to better your life. And like I said, there's 16 principles. So this is a $15 package that comes with all of these things I've shown you, $21 with shipping and handling, and you can get it at laughsandlyrics.com. So Zennurgize your life with me. Thank you.